Hi, my name is Prashant Devisa. I am the outgoing president of Sri Lanka Unites, and I also served as the founder from the inception till now. And after 15 years, I believe it's time to now let a new generation lead Sri Lanka Unites. Today we are the largest youth movement for peace in the country with over 30,000 members. We have engaged over 1 million youth in the last 15 years. But now we have a strong staff of over 40. We have about 9 offices across the country committed to bring young people across ethnic and religious and communal lines to come together to build a strong Sri Lankan identity and to ensure that this generation will help transform Sri Lanka economically, socially, culturally and politically. So we're very excited, and I'm very excited. It's been a long journey of 15 years of service, and today is the final day where I hand over officially and step down as the chairman to allow a younger generation to lead. At the same time, today is the launch of my inaugural book, Phoenix Generation, talking about a generation rising from the ashes of war, conflict, pain, corruption, poverty. Can this generation be that generation that brings new life? Not just in Sri Lanka, our movement has expanded to 13 countries around the world. And after working in these countries, I've seen that the best hope for these nations is the next generation and them rising from the ashes. So that's what today is about, and hope you enjoy our celebrations and an inspiration for us to know that young people are more than able to transform our nations.
Hi, I'm Shane De Silva, representing the board of Sri Lanka Unites. This is a great occasion, and I'm privileged and I'm honored to be a part of this launch where Prashant launched his first book, Phoenix Generation. And I want to wish Prashant all the very best in his future endeavors. Prashant today marks his stepping down from his portfolio as the president of Sri Lanka Unites. Prashant has been always a very good leader and has set the example to the younger generation of Sri Lanka, and we have reached most of the parts of the island, bearing reconciliation and hope for the youth of our future, and that's the idea of Prashant, and I'm so happy that he has been able to launch this book today, and I want to wish Prashant all the very best in his future endeavors.
Hi, I'm Nelini. I have been volunteering with Sri Lanka Unites for 13 years, which means I've been working with Prashant for 13 years. And I've had the greatest privilege of observing and watching him lead a nation of young people to do the unthinkable. It's been wonderful watching how Sri Lanka has really been transforming through young people who have chosen to be agents of reconciliation. This book Prashant is launching is especially exciting because it's filled with someone's views from ground level experience, and so I do hope and believe that it will be a really good read. I wish Prashant all the best in all he chooses to do from here on, and the organization will most certainly miss him.
Hi, my name is Vishni Vincent. I am the co-national director for Sri Lanka Unites. So today is a big moment, a big day in our timeline for Sri Lanka Unites, as the president and founder is leaving the organization. It's a farewell day, and also looking forward to read the content of the greatest book, basically the story of our lives over the past 15 years. So looking forward to what's there in the book in the Phoenix Generation. We warmly welcome all of you to the farewell of Prashant Devisa, the president and founder of Sri Lanka Unite, and the launch of the book written by him, The Phoenix Generation.
Our first endorsement is from Reverend Dr. Joel C. Hunter, the pastor for community benefit at the Action Church, Orlando, Florida. And this endorsement reads, "This book is a must-read for anyone who wants to change the world for good. It is written by one of the world's top young leaders who has created a movement and an incredible global organization, Global Unites. The Phoenix Generation calls us to join young leaders going into a future of cooperation and fulfilling potential. The next endorsement is from Dr. John Paul Lederach. When I say this book demands our attention, it is precisely because Prashant found the courage to dig deep in this soil and find the wings to transcend the legacy of violence. In two broad strokes of deep, often personal observation, Prashant outlines the pitfalls and promise. And the final endorsement I will read is from our very own Ambassador Jayanta Dhanapala. Prashant has built an infrastructure based on hope where youth have become active peace builders in their communities. This is a great inspiration and a model for the world. Here we will now have members of Global Unites. We'll see on video from around the world, and they will read excerpts from the book.
It is an attitude that creates room for proactive engagement as opposed to reactive responses.
Youths are pivotal in this exercise because they are in a formative stage in their lives and are thus able to embrace a new way of thinking.
This creates a new sense of optimism that the conflict can be overturned. And instead of being murder-destructive, it can bring constructive change to society.
This appeals to the nature of youth, where youth are more prone to seek a cause, are more open, and are less jaded by hate.
The universal emotion of youth to desire innovation, progress, and social change can be equated to a form of human evolution. A new generation seeks to take humanity forward to reach newer and higher levels and create their legacy.
What would the world be like today if a generation believed their only purpose was to preserve and maintain what they had inherited? Humanity and global society would not have progressed too far beyond the Stone Age.
Youth who are born into conflict and poverty have a heightened desire for progress. They know they were born into a world that is not as it should be.
Modern technology and global media have given them a window to other parts of the world, not plagued by violence and which are filled with resources and opportunities.
This creates a stronger desire for change. However, extremists and violent factions can refuse to believe that violence and success in violence is the only way to change, and they can manipulate us with this same notion.
They lure youth to believe that they must sacrifice as a generation for the greater good. Many approaches to solving conflicts do not have that aggressive and proactive intent. Instead, they are reactive, defensive, and passive amid conflict.
However, the focus of conflict transformation is to see conflict as an opportunity to create a proactive call to action and infuse hope.
This notion not only makes you the perfect candidate to embark on the journey of conflict transformation, but it also attracts youth to get in.
And now let's hear from the man who wrote the book. What was his inspiration? Why is it here? And what does he hope to achieve with it? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Prashant Divisya.
It's an absolute joy and a privilege to see all of you here. 15 years of the privilege of serving Sri Lanka Unites. It's been a long journey. It's been a memorable journey. But the time has come for a new season. If you're asking me the question, why did you want to write this book? One of my main inspirations was my mother, Ophelia Divisa. She went to be with her maker in heaven around 6 months ago. And throughout my life, she always told me, Prashant, do your very best in whatever you do and leave the rest to God. And all my life, I tried to do what I can to make my parents proud. I worked hard as a student, as an athlete, as a student leader, or whatever I got. My mom always said, I don't care how impressive it is, as long as you can look me in the eye and you can tell me you did your best. And so even with Sri Lanka Unites, I gave it my best. 15 years as a full-time volunteer, working 4 other jobs to pay the bills and doing this, traveling around the country. And I told my mom every day, I'm giving my best. I'm not giving a half effort here. But there was one thing as I reflected that I hadn't given my best, is to take the time to document the learnings that I had over the years, the experiences, the failures, and also identifying how can young people really bring about a change. Is it really possible? Are we just romanticizing youth here? And as she talked, I just remembered I didn't do my best when it came to documenting. And finally I decided all these manuscripts of writing and notes over the years, it's time to sit down and write it. And 3 months after her passing, I was able to complete the book. And this is dedicated to her. So that was my big why. And I know she's watching from heaven, and this is to tell her, Mom, I completed this as well, and there's much more to come. When you may ask me the question, Prashant, do you really believe that change is possible? Do you really believe, like this mythology, that as a phoenix rises from the ashes, that a new generation can rise and transform nations? Is there any hope for our nations? You're talking about Congo, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, Myanmar. It seems helpless, hopeless. There is no hope. I beg to differ. And there are 2 reasons as to why this book goes into it. Don't worry, I'm not going to tell you everything in the book, but I'll leave you with these 2 reasons. Number 1, it has been done. Despite insurmountable odds, there have been generations, mainly of young people, who've looked those odds right in the eye and say, we will transform. The second reason I believe that change is truly possible is not just because it's a historical fact, it has been done, but also because I believe local young leaders who were born into poverty, corruption, violence are sick and tired of this existence, and they want to bring about change. If a young person in our country a few years ago would believe that strapping a bomb around their waist and blowing themselves up was the way that they might have justice and freedom, if they were willing to make that kind of commitment for a flawed end goal, just imagine that same potential is there for young people to bring about true transformative nonviolent change. Today's terrorist or today's violent criminal is yesterday's young person who was looking for a mentor, a role model, a platform, a place to thrive. We can provide that. Recently I was on a flight and somebody asked me, son, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm in the mining industry. It's like, what do you mine for? Gold, blue sapphires, diamonds? I said, no, something much more valuable than that. I said, what is it? I said, no, I mine for young leaders in the most devastated parts of the world, because they have been tried and tested, and these guys have guts. These girls have guts. They are refined, they're resilient, they're inspirational, and they are our nation's best hope. They are our world's best hope. And that is the Phoenix generation.
Decades of conflicts and many years of broken structures cannot be overcome by one night or one project cycle, even a decade of work. It requires a generation's focus and attention.
Sri Lanka Unites now sees youth who joined the movement 14 years ago, still engaged as volunteers, mentors, and donors. Donations from former students are one of the growing income streams of the movement.
Their ability to have a strong work ethic and a vision for their nation, along with their ability to work across any ethnic or religious groups, have served them well, as they have thrived in their workplace.
Some of these former students of the movement are now parents themselves. Many of them will be sending their children to join the nationwide Sri Lanka Unites Kids program. They focus on an inclusive Sri Lankan identity and a just nation as core values for their lives, and hope their children will embrace these same values.
This is the type of generational impact that is needed to achieve the goals of sustainable peace and transformation. Many students of our movement have gone on to serve in government offices where they are committed to bringing about justice and reconciliation, while many have joined local and international organizations to serve for sustainable peace at various levels.
Some advocate for diversity and inclusion at their corporate workplace, and some are human rights lawyers fighting for justice in our nation. In each case, the exposure they received at the cause of peace at a young age has given them an edge to be effective for the cause as adults and professionals.
These values are no longer an extracurricular activity or positive habit. The desire to strive for peace, justice, and reconciliation becomes an integral part of their character.
I'm now going to read out 2 more endorsements that the book has received, and this one is from Robert Katende. I hope I got that right. Katendo. Phoenix Generation is a must-read book for anyone desiring to be a solution to their local challenges as individuals, nation, or continent. Prashant brings out the fact that each of us can be the change we are looking for, and hope lies in the upcoming leaders from the very challenged communities. The next endorsement is from Visakha Dharmadasa, who is a women's peace builder, a book to be read, not only for oneself to learn, but to be inspired and come together to do the needful, knowing that change is possible, even amidst the most difficult challenges, and that you have the ability and the opportunity to be that change.
I want to give the very first copy to my father, my mentor and my role model. I want to give him the copy. And the second one to my wife, my best friend, my soulmate, the most smarter one in our family, who keeps me on my knees. Actually, she made sure that I write this book. She was behind me as well. So the 2 of them will get the book. I'm not going to give my 2 boys the book. I don't know if they will destroy it, but I think I can give it to them as well.
We come from an era where we have been taught to speak when you are asked. You're not supposed to interfere and question the adults. You have been also told, listen to what they say, even if it is right or wrong, you believe it's right. We're part of a movement that changed that thinking. And I'm so proud that Prashant was able to create this platform and incorporate different people from all walks of life to come together and have that common vision. I'm ever so privileged to have him as a friend, although I was late for his wedding. I have maintained that record still. Even today he wrote to me saying, "Are you coming?" I was like, yeah. So I was happy that I was able to make it. It's just that doubt that he still has is remarkable. But Prashant also gave us an understanding to realize that everyone who we speak to, they all have their stories. They all have their reasons as to why they think the way they think. It's not the same rule for everyone. It's where you are born, it's who you are with, who speaks to you, who associates with you. That is what sort of changes your thinking. The youth today, and over 1 million have been touched, correct? Over the past 15 years. And all of these people are changing the 22 million little by little in making them realize that we have such a wonderful country and our past has ruined our future, but our present can rebuild our future. I'm so happy I was part of his journey, and I wish him all the very best in not only serving the 1,000 and more people that he served all these years, but the country that he will serve one day. And we need people like him representing us in the big house. So let's wish him all the very best as he takes his steps towards a future that is going to be remarkable for us, knowing that people like him will be the change makers.
I would like to thank you for your commitments, for your inspirations, for your leaderships to make us to this level
to expect the change and generations that never give up on this.
Thank you so much for being an amazing brother, friend, guide, and a mentor over the years.
நீங்கள் தான் எங்களுக்கு லீடர் தான் என்ன, லீடர்ஷிப்னா என்ன அப்படிங்கிறத வந்து அது இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் என்னங்கிறத வந்து எங்களுக்கு வழிகாட்டி தந்தது. ஸோ அதை வச்சு இன்றைக்கி நான் சமூகத்தில் ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு நிலைமையில் இருக்கிறதா இருந்தால் படித்தவனுக்கு அடுத்ததாக ரொம்பவே கடமைப்பட்டிக்கிறேன் நான் உங்களுக்கு.
මගේ ජීවිතේ goals set කරලා දීපු නැත්නම් ඉලක්ක අරමුණු සකස් කරලා දීපු නායකයෙක්.
You planted a quote in our hearts. The best is yet to come. We know you truly believed in this. But for all of us impacted by you over the last 15 years, we are yet to see a better leader living in our generation. Farewell to you.
අතරම මට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ මගේ ජීවිතේ ලොකු වෙනස්කමකට ලක් කරපු නායකයෙක්.
Prashana, you are an inspiring person to us. Thank you so much for motivating and encouraging us to achieve our goals and targets.
We spent many years with Sri Lanka Unites. I ended up as the head of programs, and what we really did was to what Prashant said earlier as he finished his presentation, to create that system, create kind of a curriculum or create a methodology on which the Sri Lanka Unites movement would build itself on.